In today's video, I'm going to break down step by step how I was able to take a creator making 9K a month with her old agency and scale it to over figures per month in 1 month. We took over this creator at around mid-December, so on the 14th, 15th of December is around when we took her on. And basically, she was with an old agency before joining us, and they were kind of just focusing on the wrong thing. She had a lot of potential, but it wasn't being used. So if you can see from the picture, which I've attached above, in November to December, so 14th of November to the 13th of December, with her old agency, she was stuck at the 9K a month mark. So 2.4K in subscriptions, 5.2K messages, around a 4x ratio basically. So the chatting was all right, but she was not generating enough traffic. And when I got on the phone with her and talked to her why this is basically because her old agency were focusing on Reddit and TikTok. And Reddit and TikTok in the November, December period weren't really, depending on the model with Reddit is very model dependent, whether you can get 30K a month on Reddit or not. But this model wasn't really the best for Reddit, and we kind of realized that. So as soon as we took her on, we explained to her how we're not going to do any Reddit, and with TikTok for now, we're not going to focus on TikTok, as TikTok would not be the best thing for us to push at the beginning to actually grow and explode her account. So upon taking her on, she was actually very hardworking. A lot of agencies even, they complain a lot about models not putting in a lot of work and whatnot. The thing is, when it comes to agencies complaining, a lot of them are just reliant on their models making TikToks, relying on their model posting on TikTok on 3, 4, 5, even 10 accounts every single day, and are just kind of projecting their own laziness and not putting in the work themselves. We kind of focus on using the model's content. It's not a case of the model can't do anything and blow up to 6 figures per month. We still need content provided and content to promote the model, but we take full control of the traffic. We take full control of the Instagram accounts, the Twitter accounts. We do all the posting. We get everything ready so the model isn't focused on posting on 20, 50 Instagrams every day. All she has to do is film the content, and we basically handle everything else. Upon taking her on, she was at the 9K a month mark, so pretty solid for being able to scale and actually put time into to get the marketing on point and scale her up to bigger numbers. So if I go now onto the next first 2 weeks, so I'll put a picture up above. In the first 2 weeks, so from when we took her on the 14th of December up until the 31st, we were already able to scale her to making 11.4K basically in the first 2 weeks. So we've already been able to do a jump from the first month, her last month actually being with her old agency at the 9K a month mark, to the first 2 weeks being at the 11.4K per month mark. So we've already actually done an increase, and how we actually done this was, with my agency we like to focus on IG Reels because IG at the moment is the best and most scalable traffic source. So we put most of our time into IG Reels and most of our effort to scale each of our creators that we work with on IG Reels. So in the first week, we actually had a pretty slow week. Nothing really happened, nothing really started to pick off. Basically, we just got our chatting team on board, we got everything on board. I got on a call with the model, I understood what our roadmap would be for content, what our plan would be for where we're trying to take all her accounts, what brand and what niche we figured out in the first week, which is a very, very key thing, is what niche we're going to go with. So we played down all of her strengths and all of her weaknesses and kind of figured out a niche for us to test. So we had a few niches in mind, and we gave 3 of these niches a test, and then we finally figured out towards the end of December, so in the last week of December, what would work and what we would focus on coming into January. So the first 2 weeks were kind of like a trial period, you could say, where we were just testing. So our main focus was test, especially when we onboard new models, and the main focus for new models is to test different things because we don't know exactly what's going to work with the algorithm. We have an idea of what good content looks like, an idea of what we should be posting and should be recreating, but we're not 100% sure which will blow up the most and which will best suit the model, suit with her personality, her looks, her voice. There's a lot of factors that actually come involved with how we're able to scale accounts to over 6 figures per month. So first thing was we started on IG Reels. So we actually launched about 3 accounts just to begin with. and we trialed a bunch of different content. So in the first 2 weeks, we actually got 3 shoots done. So what we usually do with our IG Reel content is we plan a day of the week, shoot all the videos for that week and that day. Got a good amount of videos done in that first shoot. First shoot that we started uploading on Instagram, nothing happened. Usually this is the case. We kind of get a feel for the model, get a feel for how she is on camera. And from there, from that first shoot, it's kind of our job now to help the model in terms of helping her be more comfortable on camera, helping her look better on camera and perform better on camera. And all these things kind of tie together to make the reels start to pop off and make all your content start to go viral. Because the main thing when it comes to short form content is not a massive model or not a model that has crazy looks or crazy whatever. The main focus is actually the quality of the content, how natural it looks on camera, how it doesn't look forced, how it looks like she's just being filmed randomly. And that's kind of our main focus when it comes to content and when it comes to perfecting the content. So what we decided to mainly focus in on and put most of our efforts in was going with the office niche route. So I'm sure you've probably seen a bunch of office type of girls on TikTok or on Reels. And with this model, with her age, with her looks, it kind of suited the best. And once we'd done the first shoot where we tried a bunch of different niches, on the second shoot, we hired out an office, done an office shoot. And after about a few days of posting, we started to see some traction. So as soon as we started to see some accounts pick up, we decided to do another shoot just before like Christmas time. And around this time is where we actually got quite a few good videos done, which would be ready for like the Christmas period where everything would be a bit more quiet. And it's the holiday season, so everyone was a bit busy with family and these kind of things. So yeah, that's it pretty much for December. So we had everything ready for December. First week in December was pretty slow, nothing really happened. And then as we started to get the content better, which is the main focus for everything, is to get better content. On our second shoot, we had that good content. And as soon as we had that good content and we deployed it on the Instagram accounts, we finally started to see the traffic pick up. And if you can see from the screenshot I put above, in the first week, we only actually managed to get 140 subs just because nothing started to blow up. Everything was, the accounts were warming up and just started posting. So not much traffic actually started to pick up. And then if I go through the next week from the 21st to the 27th, we already seen a big jump in the subscriptions, so 80% jump in the subscriptions. And we already seen a 400 sub for the week. So we already started to grow the traffic, which is the main focus and the main reason to actually get a model to 100k per month. Is all down to the traffic. If you can nail traffic, then you can nail the sales and the chatting. The main focus is always the traffic. So in December, we actually only managed to get, from taking her on, so from the 14th to the 31st, we managed to actually gain 833 subs. So 100% increase basically from what it was before. Pretty good jump to begin with. And that was kind of it for the first week. So the first 2 weeks, should I say. So first week of January is when things actually started to pick up. And we had one video hit 5 million views. And that kind of pushed us pretty nicely for the week. So I can see in the screenshot above, in January, on the 1st to the 7th, we managed to get 2.1k subscriptions and hit 11.2k for the week. So the first thing coming into January was, again, the content. So we had all the content already done on the third shoot, and content started to pick up, content started to get better. And as soon as I recognized this and realized that things are starting to work, is when we deployed our strategy for scaling creators to 50, 100 Instagram accounts. So after that week of January, I was like, okay, cool. The creator is now going viral across her 3 accounts that we had been posting on throughout, all from middle of December to start of January. So all 3 accounts are now picked up to the 30k follower mark. If these 3 accounts are picked up, then who's to say I cannot just scale this on 10, on 20, on 30 accounts, and they all pick up. And that's exactly what we done. So as soon as I see that this traffic source is working and working well, what do? We scaled it. The main thing with OFM is that you find the traffic source, you test that traffic source, and then you scale that traffic source if your test goes well. So we were at the scaling stage now. So this is when I decided to pick up my IG reel posting team. So I hired a team to post in the UK. I don't really personally like to hire posters from the Philippines or from where people usually get their VAs. I decided to hire a posting team in the UK as I found it's better. First of all, it's better to manage, and it's better for in terms of the audiences for the Instagram accounts and have a better audience for the Instagram accounts. So I like to scale my posting team in the UK. So what we actually done after this week was we decided to get on 30 Instagram accounts and scale all the traffic on IG going with 30 accounts. So that was the first week of January. 11K for the week, started to pick up. So we were now doing what the model was making in a month, now in a week. So model was pretty happy, but this was kind of just a start for what we were trying to take the account to. So after that week, it's going into the 8th of Jan to the 14th. And we did actually gain a lot more in subscriptions. So there was a jump from 2.1K up until 3.4K. So our traffic did actually increase more because from those free built up Instas, we actually scaled to the 30 accounts, like I just said. And now we were getting some of the new accounts grow to a few K followers in the first few vids. We actually had one account hit 2 million views in the second video of that account. And the thing with Reels is that the Reels push over time. So they don't, with TikTok, for example, the Reel would push in the first day, the TikTok would push in the first day, and that would be it, or the first few days. With Reels, the videos would push and push and push day after day. So our old viral videos on the account were picking up. So viral videos that had 3 mil views would push to 5 mil views, 1 mil views would push to 2 mil views. And all our videos started to pick up more and more and more. Now, the next thing that kind of come into this account in this week was focusing on the chatting. So our traffic had increased that week, and there was a little drop in the chatting ratio just because of the sheer amount of volume of subs that were coming into the account. So how we usually run it is we have 3 chatters on, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, and 1 chatter on the night shifts was not enough to handle the traffic. So how I have my chatting team with my chat manager, he had to help on all the chats and helping all the chats when usually he's overlooking all the chats and monitoring everything is running smooth. So what we had to do in this week was actually hire a second chatter so that on the night shift we'd have 3 chatters on, just to handle the traffic, because when we'd send a mass message, for example, we'd get 30 replies in the first 1 minute, and 1 chatter can't handle that. So my main focus going into this week was to kind of sort out the chatting and get the chatting more up to standard, basically. But it was pretty good for the week. So we hit over 1,000 subs for the week, and traffic and everything was starting to scale, just leading us to push to more and more numbers for the next week. So second week of Jan, we managed to be just under the 13K a week mark. Again, still trying to scale this and push this more with all these new Instas we've built, and with the focus on the chatting team, we really wanted to push this to the 20K, 25K a week mark. So going into the third week of Jan is where we really picked up with our traffic and with the chatting. So our main focus again was building up these new Instagram accounts. With the new Instagram accounts, we actually started to get a lot more videos to push and go viral. And this is just before this week, we actually arranged another shoot with the model. And now we focused on all the videos that had already gone viral. We focused on adding a twist to the videos and changing up the videos slightly, just so that we knew what worked now. All it was now to do is just rinse and repeat. So our main focus on these videos was to make sure that they were perfect. The outfit was on point, trying it in different outfits. The speech was on point, basically just perfecting the videos that we already knew were going to go viral and just making sure that they could go viral again. And the main thing is now we're on 35 Instagram accounts. So our amount of accounts we were posting 35 times every day. So the model needed over 250 pieces of content per week. And the way we're able to do this is how I actually repurpose my videos. So I have a specific way in terms of how I repurpose content to make the content appear as new content on Instagram and to enable the content to go viral across multiple accounts. So how I actually scale Instagram accounts is that I have a way to repurpose the content to make the content appear a bit different so that I can use that same video across 5 or 3 Instagram accounts. So when we do a shoot with a model, we do about 100 videos, 150 videos each shoot, but that content shoot will be edited and repurposed over 5 times. So we have from 100 pieces of content, we have 500 unique videos that we can use on Instagram, we can use on TikTok, we can use them basically fresh videos to actually scale the content where the model doesn't have to do 200, 300 unique videos. We're actually able to repurpose them and scale them across 30, 40 accounts. So going into this week, the main thing we focus on as well is adding another 20 Instagram accounts. So we actually scaled now to 50 IGs. We were doing good at 30, but we've seen again from the 30 accounts that we started posting on, easily over half of them started to build up, and the model was gaining. Her main accounts actually pushed to the 80k, 90k follower mark, and the new accounts were starting to build up to the 10k, 20k follower mark. So our strategy was working and working pretty good on Instagram. So we knew what worked. We were now literally all focused on scaling. So we took her up to 50 Instagram accounts. Again, I scaled my team of posters that I just handle in the UK. They were handling all the posting. I was mainly overlooking everything, because the thing with this business is that once you actually find the traffic source, you scale the traffic source, the next thing is outsourcing it and making it run automated. So we managed to automate Instagram and have everything running smoothly so that I don't have to sit myself and post 50 Instagrams every day. My main focus and main priority is to focus on the high ROI tasks. So focus on how I can scale this model to 100k per month, 200k per month. Focus on the things that I can implement and actually I can put in to scale her to the next numbers. So another thing that we actually decided to do in this week is we started to launch her on Twitter. So we made a Twitter for her, got everything set up, bought Twitter Premium, and actually launched her on Twitter. Because we had an idea from the content that was working on Insta, how we could change it a little bit and actually use it for Twitter. And that's kind of where we had a few subs coming from Twitter. The main, I'd say 95% of the traffic was IG, but we did have a few guys coming from Twitter, about 50 subs, and they were big spenders. So we actually managed to generate on Twitter over 9k from about 50 subs. So our Twitter ratio was actually pretty high and Twitter was going decent. So we had a few accounts build up. So the Twitter was going actually pretty decent. We had one video hit over 2 mil insights or 2 mil reach on Twitter. Got a few subs from that. But the main thing that we done was we got the spenders from Twitter, and that actually helped to the weekly total. So the total subs for the week were just under 1.6k subs. So the traffic was scaling even more. Again, with the chatting side of things, I hired another chatter to try handle the chats, because now it was happening where if there wasn't over 2 chatters on each time on the shift, the chatters couldn't handle. So the main thing when it comes to handling a big traffic account is that when you're dealing with an account making 10, 20, 30k per month, it's very easy to have one chatter just on the account. Once your account starts to scale and get to the mid 5-figure range, the 6-figure range, is when you need to scale with more chatters and hire more chatters to handle the traffic, because you need the chatters to handle when the guys come in and they just sub. You need the chatters to handle correct script selling. You need the chatters to handle whale management and managing the big spenders. If there's only one chatter on the account and they have to manage the big spenders, they have to manage the new subs. When you're getting over 200 subs in a day, like for example on the 15th, you're getting over 200 subs in a day. The daily traffic was around the 200 to 300 sub mark. And in terms of the big Instagrams, they were still pushing. So we were actually able to hit 10 million views on one video in one day. And the only thing that happened with this video was that because it went super viral in such a short space of time, the video pushed all over the world. So it pushed in Mexico, in USA, in England, it pushed all over Europe and USA, and that kind of affected the conversion. So on that day, we were only able to actually generate 400 subs, which is pretty shit for a 10 mil view video. But the main thing was that the content was still working, all the accounts were still pushing, and that everything was still going to plan, and we were still scaling up new Instagram accounts, and new accounts were still starting to push. So everything was still working pretty good. So then going into the 4th week of January, we actually were able to hit a 32K week for gross and a 25.86K net week. So everything was still running smooth. The accounts were still pushing, traffic was still going well. So for the subs for the week, we actually did have a tiny little decrease, so 20-30 subs less, but we still managed to sustain a 1.5K sub week. So everything was running well. Main thing that helped this week was the videos were still pushing, everything was still going the same. In terms of content, we had another content shoot this week of the model, and we kind of added a few different ideas. So we tested a few different things, tested a few different niches, and kind of see how we were able to now scale this to more subs and obviously more money on the back end. So with our niche, with mainly focusing on office niche, we were kind of started to see how we were maxing out. And another problem I encountered with a lot of the Instagram accounts were that because we went viral so quick, the audiences on the accounts were 25% US. So the audiences for the accounts were massively affecting the conversion. We were getting 2 million views in a day, 5 million views in a day, but our conversion could have been so much higher if we had US accounts. So the minute I realized this, I spoke to some of my network and figured out how I'm able to grow US accounts from the start. So I figured this out and figured out how to actually start with US accounts. And that's when I started to build up new accounts. With new accounts, it actually takes a while for them to grow sometimes. And the new accounts weren't really starting to pop off. So our main traffic was still coming from a bunch of different audiences in a bunch of different countries, which is kind of the reason for the ratio being lower than it should have been. I'm pretty much used to around the 8 to 9x ratio, which I've achieved with TikTok easily throughout 2023. And the drop in the ratio was kind of my main focus. So I went through the chats, I went through everything with my chat managers and broke down exactly why we're not able to hit a 7x, we're not able to hit an 8x ratio, which would have added easily over 10K to the weekly total. But our biggest thing was that we were getting so much traffic from so many different countries that the traffic wasn't full tier 1 traffic. So the chatters were actually having a lot of issues with upselling to guys who were in Mexico, in Colombia, because these guys didn't have the same money as the guys from UK and USA. But our whale management and our big spender management was actually going pretty well, and we were actually able to generate over 9K from one of our spenders, over 5K from another one of our spenders in January, and everything was still running smooth. Again, the main focus was still scaling up the Instagram's accounts. And now that I figured out what would affect the US percentage of audience, I started to build up new accounts and focus on these new accounts. So then last week of January, going into Feb, so the last week basically of the breakdown, is where the traffic did actually take a little dip. So we went from 5.5K a month in subscriptions, 5.5K a week in subscriptions, just until the 4.5K a week. But in terms of the subscriptions for the week, we actually did see a little decrease in the subscriptions, around 20% decrease, around the 1.2K subs for the week. So the traffic was still solid, but we weren't going as viral as we were the last 2 weeks. So then our main focus was, why is this the issue? What we can do to improve this, and how we can actually keep scaling this from here. So what we decided to do was, on this week when I noticed this, we scheduled another shoot, and we did start to test out a few different niches and a few different ideas, because we were kind of realizing that we peaked at the max of our specific niche, and the content ideas where we were shooting, everything was basically at max of what it is. So how we maxed out our niche was kind of the best thing that we've done. So we easily generated over 40 million views total for the month of January. But our main thing was that we got so many views so quick, and the audience was not enough US, so only about a 20% US audience, which kind of was the only bottleneck of January. So the only thing that kind of stopped the operation from taking her from 10K per month all the way to 200k per month was simply the conversion. Our views were on point, our accounts were on point. At this point, we were at 50 Instagram accounts still, posting every day. New accounts were still building up a little bit slower as the content wasn't going as viral as quick, which is normal with Instagram. And our main focus was still, how can we still build on this and how can we still push on this? But chatting for the week was still around the same. We still had 5 chatters on the account, not at the same time, but total. My main focus was figuring out how to build these Instagrams to make them more US audience. And as they were still new Instagrams, they weren't really generating to what the traffic was on the account at the moment. But then breakdown then from January 5th to the Feb, we managed to hit 81k net for the month and 100k just over 100k gross. So that was from taking the model that was making 9k per month with our old agency, all up until 101k a month gross and 81.2k a month net with my agency. So the whole process was basically, number one, figure out her strengths and her weaknesses, figure out how we can use her looks and her content and scale that content. Number two was have her not spend all this time focusing on the wrong things on Reddit, on TikTok, and focus on the right traffic sources that are able to scale and generate the most amount of paid subs. And the third thing was testing each different style of content, seeing what works for her, seeing what doesn't work for her. And the main thing was, once we figured out what works, we scaled it. The minute I figured out what niche would be best for her and seen the videos get 1 million views, I scaled it from 3 Instagram accounts to 30 Instagram accounts to 50 Instagram accounts. And now at this point every day we're posting on 50 Instagram accounts. So the main thing you can take from this video is that once you have the right traffic source on point, your main focus is to scale it. It's to take that traffic source and milk it dry. Once you find something that works, don't just stay on 1 Insta or 2 Instas or 3 Instas like a lot of agencies do. You want to scale the fuck out of that traffic source. So you want to generate and make as many Instagrams as you can. Build your Instagram team, build your posting team so that you're able to now use that same content over 50, over 100 accounts. And that's how you're able to scale from 0 to 100k per month. You're not just gonna do it with 1 Instagram account. There are exceptions to this rule where models who have a specific look or a specific niche and convert super highly can be an exception to the rule. But think about it, if a model can make 100k per month with 1 Instagram account, how much can she make with 50, with 30, with 100? Your goal and your focus as an agency is to take control of the traffic, is to scale her accounts to the max that you can. And having your model focus on TikTok or on Reels and have her just post everything herself is stupid. You want to take control of the traffic and you want to be the main reason why she can scale to 100k per month, 200k per month, because the operation of scaling to these numbers isn't as easy as throwing a few chatters on and you make 100k per month, or you let your model post TikToks and you make 100k per month. You need to actually have a whole system, have a whole plan, have a whole roadmap on how you're going to achieve it, put the things in place, do the tests necessary. Then if the tests work, scale those results and scale those traffic sources to the max that you can. So that's it for this video. And if you want to see more of this kind of breakdown and how I actually run my agency, you can click the link below and join my Telegram channel. That will show daily insights on what I'm doing, how I'm operating, what I'm focused on, what kind of traffic or OFM game I'm giving up. The next thing is that you can join my paid group, OFM Uncovered, where I break down everything. Don't leave anything out. I don't gatekeep anything. I share that with all my members. That is basically my private network filled with a bunch of guys making over 6 figures a month in OnlyFans, where we share all our source, all our knowledge, everything we learn and grow together. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment and subscribe, as I'll be posting a bunch more content like this in the future. And if you want to know how I actually done this, you can drop me a message below on my Telegram or my Instagram and I'll get back to you.